Hello and good evening, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a tier list on all the artifacts of Genshin Impact 3.4 as this is as of 3.4, and we're going to be starting off with the 3-star artifacts. So first off, we have the Adventurer set. These first 3-star artifacts are they're really bad. There's no reason to really use them. They're really simple stuff for early game exploration, because in the beginning you're just running around through the entire Mondstadt and Leeway and opening chests and stuff like that. So it has a bunch of the two-piece effect. It increases your HP by 1,000, which is nothing late game. But its 4-piece is that opening a chest regenerates 30% of your HP for 5 seconds. So it's meant for travel along with the other ones. These are all F tier. There is no if, ands, or buts about it, but I will talk about them individually. Next up is the Lucky Dog, which is this one, the 4-leaf clover. The 2-piece is that it increases defense by 100 for your beginning Arataki Itos, I guess. I don't know. And picking up Mora restores 300 HP. Which is I guess everything gives you more, all those little rocks you investigate and stuff. But that's kind of negligible. Next up and lastly is the Traveling Doctor. 2-piece increases incoming healing by 20%. Which is what's the point? All the other stuff increases healing or heals you at the 4-piece. So you would need a healer to properly use this, and what character you're using that needs increased healing. So that's pretty whack. And then the 4-piece increases using your elemental burst restores 20% of your HP, which again, not that useful. None of these are useful in any way aside from maybe some exploration, but you could explore without these for sure. You could just run around your character's naked in terms of artifacts and using bum weapons, as long as you just level up your characters. That's all you really need for the beginning. The game's not difficult enough to where it's oh man, I pulled this Lucky Dog piece, I gotta change it now, and it's got crit rate on it. So it's it's very, very negligible, but it's a solid form of just fodder facts, as I like to call them. It's just artifacts you use as fodder to upgrade other ones. All your 4 stars and below, use for your 5 stars to upgrade them. Moving on to the 4-star artifacts. The 4-star artifacts, the thing about the 3 stars is that they upgrade very little. I think they cap at 12 or something, and you just don't get enough of the scaling and everything. The 4 stars, however, they're a bit closer to 5 stars. They max out at 16, and they take a lot less XP to upgrade to max out than the 5-star artifacts. And in doing so, you save a lot. To get a gold artifact to 20, you would need twice the amount to get 2 4 stars to 16, which is pretty insane. So it makes the farming a lot easier and whatnot. And there's little talks about oh, maybe some 4-star artifacts are better than some 5-star artifacts because individual pieces, depending on what they roll and what they upgrade and how easy it is to upgrade them. You can go through a whole thing of 4-star versus 5 stars, but the 5 stars will infinitely always have the potential to be better because they have a much higher ceiling. So all the substats that can be upgraded for 4 stars, they all stop at a certain amount, and it's just the 5 stars, they just stop at an even higher amount. So you would always want to run the risk, the potential of doing better instead of settling for a 4-star artifact, because you can always have a 5-star that's gonna be better, that has the potential to be better, or even at the same level with a little bit less luck, kind of because of like the way the ceilings are and like the low ceiling, high ceilings, or whatever. So to start off with our 4-star artifacts, we have a 4-star artifact that would have been absolutely insane if it was a 5-star artifact, and that is the Berserker piece. The 2-piece, it increases crit rate by 12%. 12% is a lot of crit rate. Like, just for like an artifact, like that's just kind of insane. And then its 4-piece is when HP is below 70%, crit rate is increased by an additional 24%. Not to 24%, an additional 24%. So if you have a character like Hu Tao or Zhao, Shinobu even, I guess, characters that just like would just run their HP low, like you could have 36% crit rate easily from just this artifact set. The problem, however, is that it's a 4-star artifact, so even though it has like a really cool effect, it's hard to beat like a 5-star artifact because they could just roll higher crit rates. So it's like, would you want to run 2 pieces of this or try and get 2 pieces to have like better rolls on crit rate, get 12%? It's I think it's a B tier artifact. Like honestly, like the way I'm kind of judging this this tier list, this ranking, is that, you know, S and A tiers definitely use. S tiers are probably going to be like the 2 and 4-piece effects are both really good. A tiers are probably like the 2-piece is really good, or maybe even just the 4-piece. And the B tiers are probably like I wouldn't even use, but like consider. Like, you know, maybe one day there's gonna be some crazy build with like a Berserker or something. Like, it's like increasing crit rate is just insane, especially by that amount. But it's never gonna live up to a 5-star artifact in terms of like numbers. So there's always that to consider. It's almost like you're getting less in like everything else just to get just a little bit more crit rate. Moving on. Oh yeah, and like C and F tiers, like don't ever use. like just get them away. Like it's strictly just like upgrade fodder. Like B tiers as well, kind of. Moving on. Next we have Braveheart. Braveheart is 2-piece, increases attack by 18%, and the 4-piece increases damage by 30% against enemies with more than 50% HP. It's very much outclassed. This is like C tier. It's definitely better than these 3-star nonsenses. But the Gladiator set, there's like 3. I think there's like 3 sets with like attack percent as like the 2-piece that are 5 stars, and one of them is the Gladiator, which you get from like any boss fight or any like weekly boss. So chances are you've probably got better Gladiator pieces than you do Braveheart. And increasing damage against enemies with higher HP. It's kind of cool. It makes the first half of the fight kind of go by a little fast, but then after that, like you just get nothing from this. Like you get the attack increase, cool, like that sticks with you the whole time, but you just lose the what's it called, the damage increase. Which if you're fighting like little enemies is like fine, because you probably will like one-shot them or whatever. But if you're fighting bosses, it'll make the second half drag out a lot longer. And with like the Spiral Abyss, you know, everything's like time-based. You wouldn't want something like this because it's just not worth it. It'll just make the last half take too long. Next up, we have the Defender's Will. The 2-piece increases defense by 30%, and the 40-piece artifact set. And the 4-piece increases elemental resistance by 30% for each element present among your characters in the party. So off the bat, you get 30% defense. Pretty cool. It's a pretty high amount. We only like got like a 2-piece defense artifact like last year at the time of recording this, when Ito came out. It's like the Ito, and like 3 characters use it, like Ito, Garo, and what's her name? Yunjin. Oh, actually 4, Noelle. Oh, and what's his name? I think Albedo uses it too. Like, Like the defense artifact set, like really changed the game. Like it came out like really strong, and but this was the previous defense we had before, which is actually like kind of cool. Increasing elemental resistance for each element. Like you can have 4 elements, so you can have 120% resistance, which I wouldn't even know what that would look like. Or it increased by 120%. So I don't even know what that would look like in terms of like defense. But like I'm not really a defensive kind of player, or like I only play like characters that use defense for like buffs and stuff like that. Like there is no like full on defense character. So like the 4-piece is just kind of like you're tanky for what reason? Like Genshin Impact isn't about like, it's not about like withstanding or whatever. There is no like challenge. It's like that's like deal with, like take this many hits or whatever. It's all about like doing damage and doing damage as fast as you can. So the 2-piece defense by 30% is really cool because a lot of characters use that for scaling on their damage. But because it's 4-piece, even though it is an interesting effect, it does nothing in terms of like damage or damage boosting, because I don't think there's any character right now that has a damage increase by their elemental resistance increase. Because of that, I think it's a pretty bad like artifact. I think it's C tier. I don't think I'd ever look twice at it, other than like saying like, wow, that is a cool effect, and that's it. Next up, we have the Gambler. Now, this was an artifact with so much potential. I'm gonna put it at the top of B tier because it makes me so upset that this is not a 5-star artifact set. It increases elemental skill damage by 20%. So it's like the Noblesse Oblige in the 2-piece, but for your skill. So every character that has like a really strong skill, like imagine Beto, where like you just specifically increase the damage of her skill. Like you just kept like increasing it with like 2-piece this and 2-piece thunder and like a bunch of other cool stuff. Like imagine like the numbers you could hit with that. And it's 4-piece. Defeating an enemy has a 100% chance to remove elemental skill cooldown, and but it only occurs every 15 seconds. So you can use this almost like a like the sacrificial sword or sacrificial anything, where it resets the cooldown on hit. But it's like forever going, and you can have that weapon be anything. You can have it with like a crit rate or crit damage substat, and this would be the only thing you need for a DPS character that relies on their skill. This is like extremely good stuff, but it's a 4-piece. Like this could be useful in so many different characters, but it's a 4-piece. Like what do you like you're even though like it potentially is really good, you're still not going to use it over 5 stars that like have like slightly less better effects. So that like really sucks. But it's such a, and it actually has like really cool looking pieces. Like it's a bunch of like dice and shit like that. Like it's a really cool set. Look, the Gambler set. It's really nice, but it's just not good, sadly. Next up, we have the Instructor. I remember getting a lot of these. I remember not getting a lot of Berserker and wanting more and more, but getting a lot of Instructor and not wanting much of any of them. So the 2-piece increases elemental mastery by 80, which is exactly like the Wanderer set, which is we get that from everything, same as the Gladiator. And the 4-piece, upon triggering an elemental reaction, increase all party members' elemental mastery by 120 for 8 seconds. So in early games, like no one really knows the importance of elemental mastery and what it is or what it even does. And now that I'm in late game, I still don't really know, but I know that it's important for some characters. And increasing like one character's by 80 is like cool, whatever. Like I guess like for some characters, like 80 is like a solid number. It sounds like a big number. I mean, having to give someone $80 is a lot of money to give them, so 80 is kind of a lot, right? But the giving 120 to all characters, like Like that's not like I think this is a solid B tier. I think it's actually even better than the Berserker. Um, it's it's like if you have a full elemental mastery party, like if you have like Nahida and I think Sucrose needs elemental mastery and Miko and like Albedo or something, like you could, or Diona, I think she boosts elemental mastery. Like you can probably hit some like insane numbers. Like I don't know the exact team you would have. I know for a fact Nahida and Miko have like some scaling off of elemental mastery. But like if you figure out the rest of the party, because I don't know off the top of my head, I apologize for that. But like you can probably hit some crazy numbers. You can have a whole party with like, and like you can probably hit like multiple people with this on, and you can just keep doing it like, and it doesn't say that it's like there's like a cooldown. It increases by 120 for 8 seconds. But it doesn't say that like, oh, there's a certain amount of time where it triggers or once at a time. It's just when you trigger an elemental reaction. So like I can't even imagine like the windows for this. Like even as a 4-piece, like it sounds like it could hit some crazy numbers if you do enough elemental reactions. But I don't fully know like the logistics of it, so maybe no one's like really cared to test it out or check it. So who knows? This could be like a crazy sleeper for an elemental mastery party, and we don't even know. Or maybe someone already did do it, and I don't even know about it. Moving on is the martial artist. The 2-piece increases normal attack and charged attack by 15%, and the 4-piece, after using elemental skill, increase normal and charged attack by 25% for 8 seconds. This would have been like a pretty damn crazy what's it called, a pretty damn crazy artifact set for Child and Hu Tao, because like they're all about their normal / charge attack, or Hu Tao's about charge, then Child's about normal, and then they both use their skill and then transform and then normal. Oh, and Yoimiya too, but there's better options. This is a 4-star. Still not it still doesn't have like a bad effect, but it's just suffering from the window of the 4 and 5-star threshold. Next up, we have these really interesting. This is the only thing like this in the game, where every other artifact set has a 2 and a 4-piece, but these are strictly 1-piece, and they're always the hats, like the helmets, like the ones that can have like I think they're the circlets technically. I don't fully remember those. I don't really care for that because they're always hats. They're almost always hats, or like I think one of them is like earrings or headwears, helmets, whatever. But like these are tiaras. They're always only tiaras, and they have pretty bad effects. So the first one, Prayers for Destiny, and you're affected by Hydro for 40% less time. The next one is Prayers for Illumination, you're affected by Pyro for 40% less time. Prayers for Wisdom, affected by Electro for 40% less. And Prayers to Springtime, affected by Cryo for 40% less time. I really like the Cryo one because Prayers for Springtime is pretty funny because it's like, you know, like you want the winter to go away and you want the spring to come in. So like you're wearing this to be affected by like, you know, Cryo less, and you're praying for springtime. It's pretty fun. I really like the name of this one, but they're all pretty bad. I would say even like F tier artifacts. No particular order. Like it's not like the elements matter. It's like, oh man, if you were affected by like Geo for 40% less time, we'd be talking S tier. Definitely not. It's just a matter of Genshin's not a game about defense. It's not especially elemental defenses like this. It does absolutely nothing. It's just a matter of doing damage, and this helps in no way of doing damage. But like it is kind of cool. Like I've never even like just looked at it to have like 3-piece set, like 2 pieces, and then like one of these just to see what it would look like. Just to have like 3 like little paragraphs or 3 sentences or whatever. But these are just terrible. There's no reason to use them. They're better than these 3 stars because like You can upgrade them more, I guess. They might not even be better than the 3 stars, honestly. Maybe like the little like, I think the little 2-piece effects are like, yeah, except for traveling doctor. The 2-piece effects are just like better, like a little bit of like defense, a little bit of HP, whatever. Better than these, which give you realistically nothing in my eyes. Moving on, we have the resolution of Sojourner, whatever that word is. The 2-piece increases attack by 18%, and the 4-piece increases charged attack crit rate by 30%. This is pretty bad because it's way too specific. Like, attack is like cool, like 18% is pretty solid amount, whatever. There's a lot of like things that do attack, so it's like it's already outclassed. But then increasing only your charged attack crit rate by 30%, like that's a lot, only for the charged attack. Like, there is no character who's like charged attack is very important that you would play this on in terms of like anything else. Even like the martial artist. Like the martial artist is like way better. But like this only increases your charge attack. You'd have to extremely be focused on just your charge attack. It's way too specific for a 4-piece. It should be a lot, I don't know, a lot broader. Maybe if it did a little bit more. Like, it's just too much to ask for 4 pieces of your artifacts to just do that. Like, maybe if it increased damage and crit rate, maybe even crit rate and crit damage, or like if it had just a little bit more, maybe it would have been better and like a sleeper pick, but it just doesn't do enough. Next up is the Scholar. This one, the 2-piece increases energy recharge by 20%, and the 4-piece, gaining energy gives 3 energy to all party members who have a bow or catalyst equipped. Yeah, this sucks. Yeah, all your... I guess it gives it to all party members, which is kind of cool. But only if they have like a bow or a catalyst. So, when one character gets a little bit of energy, or the character equipping this gets energy, everyone with a bow and catalyst gets an extra little bit of energy. Which is like kind of cool, but I don't even think 3 energy is a lot in the grand scheme of things. I don't know. I think this is pretty bad. I mean, it's a 4-star, so it's already bad to begin with. But yeah, I don't have much to say because I'm not really 100% sure on 3 energy being a lot. But I don't know. 3 energy sounds like an extremely little amount. Like I said before, if I owed someone $3, whatever, $3. Next up is the Exile. 2-piece increases energy recharge by 20%, and the 4-piece, using an elemental burst, regenerates 2 energy for all party members, including the wearer, every 2 seconds for 6 seconds, and this effect cannot stack. This sounds a lot better. Not by much, but it sounds like a lot better. Yeah, using your burst, like imagine this on like Raiden Shogun, bro. Like everyone's gonna have their burst at all times, like essentially. But it's still not that good. like there's better energy recharge stuff. So I wouldn't ever use these over the emblem of whatever, like the Shogun set. Like extremely better, the best to ever do it. And lastly, for our 4-star artifacts, is Tiny Miracle. 2-piece elemental resistance increase by 20%. And the 4-piece incoming elemental damage increases corresponding elemental resistance by 30% for 10 seconds. This is another very defensive artifact set. Yeah, it's just not that good. When all you're doing is increasing, like, and this one's like really, really bad because it doesn't even increase like defense or anything else. Like, it's just strictly elemental resistance. And like I said, I don't think any character has any benefits from having increased elemental resistance. So this helps no one strictly is on a defensive like basis. So I can't see it ever being useful. Like no character would ever want to be like, yeah, I want to be as defensive as possible. Other than like characters who scale off of defense, like like Noelle and Ito and Albedo or whatever, because they'll do more damage with more defense. So it makes sense to give them more defense. But a character that just strictly is just like, yeah, I just want to be more defensive for the sake of defense, like it's just not gonna happen. It doesn't make sense in the game. So it just won't. Like we'll do our best to make sure it doesn't happen. Cause it's just strange. It just doesn't fit the gameplay, the fast-paced gameplay style of Genshin Impact. Next up, we have our 5-star artifacts. Finally, we can get into some good stuff, some quality food. Starting off, we have exactly not that. This is A tier, strictly just because 2-piece is a 15% geo damage bonus. Also, some of these 5-star artifacts, they have extremely long 4-piece effects. Like some of them I don't even know off the top of my head because I've never used them. I've read them, not used them. No one ever talks about them. So like I just don't like this purple one and this like teal one. I don't know what they are. I don't know their names. I don't know what they do, like, because they're just not useful. I don't think like any character I play uses them. Like some of these I just don't know. And they're just a little complex to explain. But I'll try and give you like a brief summary or something. Like, yeah, like there's just a lot. Some of these have paragraphs for their 4-piece effects. This one has like a pretty long one, but I know it because it's bad. So the main thing about Geo characters is that they make crystallize, or that they do crystallize. And when you pick up the crystallized shield, the element of that shield, your party gains a 35% damage bonus for that like element. So if you crystallize Geo, right? You get 2 Geos and then you get a Geo shield, you get a 35% Geo damage bonus, which is really cool. But if you're fighting like, let's say you're fighting a bunch of slimes, like if you get a water damage bonus on a hydro slime, who the hell cares? Like if you get a damage bonus of an element, if you get a damage bonus of the element of the enemy's type, it's irrelevant because they either have like resistance or immunities to it. So it just makes no sense. You have to crystallize for your DPS. So it's like it's way too tricky to try and get like a little like 35s are pretty high amount, but it's way too tricky to try and get that. There's other things you can do, other like bonuses, like other like better things you could do. So it's just not even worth it. Next up, we have the Blizzard Destroyer. This is 2-piece cryo damage bonus, and the 4-piece is 4-piece is actually insanely good. This is an S tier artifact for sure. When a character attacks an enemy affected by cryo, their crit rate is increased by 20%. If the enemy is frozen, crit rate is increased by an additional 20%. The coolest part about building cryo characters is that because of this, and I think because of their like elemental resonance, like you don't have to worry about crit rate. Like you're just gonna get crit rate, especially if you build like a freeze team. It just makes cryos absolutely insane. This is a 4-piece artifact set that increases crit rate. It's like every like ice DPS is just automatically just insane. Like ice is one of the best like DPSs to build because there's so much variety in what you can do. Ice and electro, more so ice, but like yeah, this definitely helps out with their toolkit. Definitely is like insanely good. Like if you have this and like a crit damage weapon, you're set. Like your rolls don't even have to be that like good. Like this, a crit damage weapon and a crit damage hat, like you're gonna have like 300% crit damage, and like it's fine, even if you have like a low crit rate. Next up, we have Bloodstained Chivalry. I don't think I've ever used this. I don't think anyone has ever used. Actually, I recently got a 2-piece set that was really good, but it like there was no like physical characters that were like playing this until like the Pale Flame came out with Eula, and then like everything like changed, like physical characters. They got like a pretty good artifact set because the 2-piece, increases physical damage by 25%, and the 4-piece, after defeating an opponent, increases charged attack damage by 50% and reduces its stamina cost to 0 for 10 seconds. Like those two have nothing to do with each other. Like I don't think that like there's a bunch of physical characters like spamming charged attacks. It's like the 2-piece is like pretty solid because physical damage was cool, whatever. That 4-piece is just irrelevant and strange. No one is asking for that. No one is building for that. I don't think anyone needs that. At least not yet. Maybe there will be a character that will be physical damage and can spam charged attacks or something, and like will like get like the full bloodstained bonus. But for now, there's nothing like that. It's just an A tier. Next up, we have the Crimson Witch of Flames. This is a very good set. This is the 4-piece increases overload, damage, and Burgeon. I don't know if it's Burgeon or Burgeon. I don't know. Damage by 40%, which is like reactions stronger. Sounds good to me. Increases Vaporize and Melt by 15%. Using an elemental skill increases 2-piece set effect by 50% for 10 seconds. Now, when numbers get like so when it says it gets increased, using an elemental skill increases 2-piece set effect by 50% for 10 seconds. Does that mean that the 15% is increased plus 50%, so it's 65%, or is it increased by 50% of the 15%? So like 7.5 plus the 15%, 22.5%. I don't know. I never actually like heard anyone say it, so I've kind of just been going like, whatever. It doesn't matter. It increases it by some amount. That's all we need to know. That's all that's good, right? If one of you can clarify that for me in the comments, that would be absolutely lovely, and I would very much appreciate that. And I will thank you in advance. Thank you. But overall, this is a really good set. It increases like all your reactions. And Pyro has really good reactions. Increases the reaction damage, increases Pyro damage bonus, and then increases it by some more. This is an S tier artifact for sure. Next up, we have Deep Wood Memories. 2-piece increases Dendro damage bonus by 15%. Solid. And then the 4-piece, after elemental skills or bursts hit opponents, the target's Dendro resistance will be decreased by 30% for 8 seconds. This effect can be triggered even if the equipping character is not on the field. I think this is just an A tier artifact. I don't think the 4-piece is like that good. Like you decrease their Dendro resistance, but like Dendro is like all about reactions and stuff like that. Like you're not gonna have like, I don't think there's any character. I don't even think I'll hate them. I'm not really too sure about I'll hate them, but I don't think there's any character who wanna like run 4-piece of this and then like constantly spam. Like maybe Tainari, but I feel like there's better things you could do. Like it's just like elemental mastery for like the reactions would probably be better. Like 2-piece this and 2-piece elemental mastery, which is funny because the domain that this is in, the other artifact set, the 2-piece is elemental mastery. So chances are you'll get like 2 pieces of that, which are pretty good, which you could probably mix with 2 of your Deep Wood Memories to create like a pretty good set. Like I think that's a better way of building the Dendro characters because they're all about like reactions. Next up is Desert Pavilion Chronicles. This is the newer one actually. This is for Scaramouche. So the 2-piece increases Anemo damage bonus, which is the second of its kind. But the 4-piece for this, when charge attacks hit opponents, the equipping character's normal attack speed will increase by 10%, while normal charge and plunging attack damage will increase by 40%. So this is an S tier artifact because 2-piece animo damage bonus, pretty solid. But the 4-piece effect, while a little complex and will not work for every character, I think it's still like a really good a really good effect, because the all you have to do is use like a charging attack, and you just turn on like all these bonuses. Use one charge attack, and your normal charge and plunging damage all increases, along with the speed of your normal attacks. So you could use Zhao, and you could use like one like charge attack, and then like his plunging attacks will do 40% more damage for 15 seconds. That sounds like some pretty solid numbers. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, run like Swirl Zhao with like the Viridescent set? Like, it just sounds weird. This sounds a lot more like focused on like damage. Like, this is like, it's more like aggressive. Like, I'm a lot more like into like the aggressive play styles. Like, just go all in, just rush in, like no plan, just like die, and like come back and try and do it again. And this is like a really good one for that. Next up, we have Echoes of an Offering. This one has like a paragraph, but I don't know what it is, so I have to read it so we can comprehend it together. The 2-piece attack increased by 18%, and the 4-piece, when normal attack hits opponents, there's a 36%. Well, what? There's a chance that something will happen. There's a 36% chance that it will trigger Rarity, which will increase normal attack damage by 70% of attack. This effect will be dispelled 0.05 seconds after a normal attack deals damage. If a normal attack fails to trigger Rarity, the odds of it triggering the next time will increase by 20%. So this is just like normal attack spam. Like, it's like there's a chance of it happening, and then if it doesn't happen, the chance increases until it happens. And it will increase one normal attack. One single swing. Yeah, this is some nonsense. I think this is like bottom of A tier. Like, there's probably someone who uses it. Let's find out. Let's open up the page tab. See what characters would be recommended for this. Ayato, Yoimiya, Tartaglia, and Razor. Yeah, all the normal attacks are like, that's what it says. The normal attacks are the main source of damage. I guess that makes sense. But I think all of those characters have way better artifacts you could be using. Like, you could be using like the 4-piece water set for Ayato and Child. So this is like pretty obsolete for them. And then Yoimiya has her own artifact set, the Shiwanawas or whatever. And Razor, there are better ways you could build your Razor. This seems like a... Damn, honestly, I think it's probably a B tier artifact. I don't think I would ever use this. I don't think there's a character that would be like laughing, cheering, and crying that you gave this to them. I highly would pass on this. Next up, we have Emblem of Severed Fate. This is for both of my homegirls, the Raiden Shogun and Mona Magistus. So I have a lot of love for this artifact set. I've farmed it like a billion times because I've helped some of my friends farm for the Shiwanawa set. I was just in there, just like sometimes getting emblems, sometimes not. And like I've done that domain way too many times. I have it like memorized, and for some reason it's always difficult. No matter what team I go in there with, I always have a little bit of trouble. But anyways, the 2-piece for the emblem is it increases energy recharge by 20%, and the 4-piece is it increases elemental burst damage by 25% of energy recharge. A maximum of 75% damage bonus can be obtained in this way. So if you have a character that's all about their burst, Like, this is extremely good for them. Even better than that, because I think this is just better for more characters than this. So yeah, your characters, like, that are all about their burst, the burst damage. They get their burst faster, and on top of that, their burst does more damage. So like, even if you just want the 2-piece set, like, energy recharge is really solid. There's a lot of support characters that run energy recharge weapons, like the sacrificial weapons or the Favonius weapons, to get their ult faster. And if you have a 2-piece set that it does that, like, good on you. And if you have a character who's like scales off of energy recharge, like Mona and the Shogun, it's just phenomenally insane. Like, you get your burst so fast and it does so much damage. That's what I love about the Shogun. Like everything just happens so fast. Like, you can just keep spamming it. The worst part is like the cooldowns, but whatever, man. Like if you could spam it like within like seconds of each other, like, life would be way too easy. We need to have some struggle and some strife. Like, the only downside about this is that, like, you have to wait on cooldowns. This is still a very good set. Like, even just for like the 2-piece. I don't think there's any other energy recharge set. I think it's just this one right now. I could be wrong. There could be another one here that I could just be missing. But even just for the 2-piece, it's a very good set. Next up, we have Flower of Paradise Lost. This came out along with the Desert Pavilion. It's funny, not long before this release, like, this came out in like 3.3, and then like Sumeru, like 3.0. Literally, Guild of Dreams right after this is an Elemental Mastery 2-piece set. Kind of weird. So this is another one with like a paragraph, but I don't know what it does, so we have to read it. The equipping characters Bloom, Hyper Bloom, and Burgeon reaction damage are increased by 40%. Sounds pretty good so far. Additionally, after the equipping character triggers Bloom, Hyper Bloom, or Burgeon, they will gain another 25% damage bonus to the effect mentioned prior. Huh. Okay. That's a little tricky. Wait. So the equipping characters Bloom, Hyper Bloom, and Burgeon reaction damage are increased by 40%. Additionally, after the equipping character triggers it, they get another damage bonus. Okay. So if it happens, there's a bonus, and if they trigger it, an extra bonus. So if they're the one who initiates it, I guess that's what it's saying. Each stack of this lasts 10 seconds, max 4 stacks simultaneously. This effect can only be triggered once per second. The character who equips this can still trigger its effects when not on the field. Alright. What characters even use this? This is it's a bunch of... Okay. So this seems like a very specific build. This one's a little tricky to say, because it sounds really good, but it's specific only to like Dendro teams. So you have to have like it says like Shinobu, Raiden, Miko. Those are all characters who can do electro damage while being off the field, and then it has Toma, who does like fire damage off the field because there's fire shield, and then Nahida, who just gets a lot of bonuses from like, because she's gonna trigger all these reactions, and her burst gives like bonuses for having different element types and whatever. So it seems like a very good Nahida one actually. But in terms of the other characters, it's specific only to this team. So you would have to build this character. You would have to get this artifact to build this character specifically for this team. But you won't have like a general use of the character. Like, you can't like throw the character into like another team, because it just won't work. I think it's still like really good for what it is, but I think it's just A tier in term, as opposed to S tier, because it's just a little too specific. Like I like I think Genshin would be a lot cooler if we had a lot more artifacts like this, but it's just hard to fight like being able to like throw teams together with like solid but generally built characters. Like I think something like this would be a lot funner later on when we have like an extreme plethora of characters. When we have like 100 something characters and like hundreds of artifact sets to like build characters in like thousands of ways. It'd be very similar to Yu-Gi-Oh in that sense, which I think would be really cool, where everyone's team build is like very uniquely different because everyone like plays in such different ways, and there's so many variety of ways to do things. Like I think that would be very interesting. But for now, everything is just general. Like look at all the 2-piece sets. Like everything is like elemental mastery, attack, defense, element damage bonuses, like stuff like that. Solid, simple, it hits for now. But 4-piece sets, they're not as like dramatic and crazy. Moving on from that, we have the Gilded Dreams, 2-piece elemental mastery, and the 4-piece set. I don't remember what it was, so I have to read it. But I remember it's not that good. Within 8 seconds of triggering an elemental reaction, the character equipping this will obtain buffs based on the elemental type of the other party members. Attack is increased by 14% for each member whose elemental type is the same as the equipping characters, and EM is increased by 50, not percent, just 50, for every member with a different elemental type. Each of the buffs will count up to 3 characters. Each of these buffs will count up to 3 characters. This effect can be triggered once every 8 seconds, and even when not on the field. This is another one where you have to have like a very specific party, but I don't even think this is like, damn, I don't know. It doesn't sound that good because you have to have everything be very like if like it's better if they're different. Like you get the attack bonus if they're the same, which is cool. But if you're using this, you probably want the EM bonus. So you have to very much like go out of your way to use different elemental types. Probably isn't that bad, but then you lose out on like elemental resonance. So, well, different from this character or different from? Oh no. For every member with a different elemental type, you have to have like 4 different ones. So you lose out on like the elemental resonance. It still sounds pretty solid. It still is a pretty good artifact set. But I think there's just better 4-piece effects. Like I don't even like run this on like Sino, because like I think I switched out like my Sino build a little bit, because I used to run 4-piece this, and then I was like, and I did have at the time I had like 4 different elemental types, but he just, like his damage just wasn't that good. He just wasn't doing enough. And I was like, damn, bro, like I got Sino and his weapon, and he's still not doing that. Like he's doing like moderate numbers. And then I changed it. I think I had like 2-piece this, and then like 2-piece like of the like electro set, and then like he just started doing like so much better like damage on his ult. It just worked out for like extremely the better. So yeah, I don't think the 2-piece set is. I mean, I don't think the 4-piece effect is that good. Maybe I wasn't using it right. Maybe there are better ways to do it. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think of Gilded Dreams. I'm a little iffy on like the 4-piece set. The 2-piece set, Elemental Mastery is really solid. So, and like I said, it goes really well with the Deep Wood, because you can like farm them both at like the same time, and the 2 pieces go really well together. Next up is Gladiator. Gladiator's Finale. If you don't know this, like off the top of your head, like you haven't been playing Genshin long enough. The 2-piece increases attack by 18%, and the 4-piece increases like normal. Is it normal and charged? It's normal attack. I guess I haven't been playing Genshin that long enough. Increases normal attack of like Everything except for like bows and catalyst. It's like physical, like so swords, claymores, and pole arms. Like all like the you know what gladiators would be fighting with, right? This is a very solid artifact set. Like most characters wouldn't really go wrong with this, because your normal attack is pretty important, and it's very easy to get really good pieces over a long period of time. Like it's hard to go out of your way to farm for this, because you have to spend 40 resin on like bosses or 60 on like weekly bosses. It's pretty tough to go out of your way to farm it, or at least it used to be, because now you have the now you have like the crafting table thing where you can exchange artifacts, which is like a godsend, lifesaver. But other than that, like you're gonna get gladiator pieces from just playing the game and existing. So eventually you're gonna get really good pieces, even if you don't use them right away, or even if you get duplicates. Like it'll be good for someone eventually. Like someone's gonna need to attack increase, like it'll just be good on them, and someone's gonna be like built for normal attacks that won't be like a hydro character, so you don't want to use the Heart of Depth. So it's like it's a really good artifact set. It's generically pretty good, and it's pretty easy to get too. So I think it's a mid A tier, because it's not like crazy good. They're not gonna make like just a common artifact set like stupid good, you know. But pretty decent for what it is. Next up, we have the Heart of Depth. Heart of Depth, and this is the water artifact set. This is 2-piece hydro damage bonus, and 4-piece after using an elemental skill increases normal and charged attack by 30% for 15 seconds. This is another phenomenal like artifact set. This is like, I know a lot of 5 stars are like S and A. Like don't worry, we'll get into some of these other ones that aren't that good. But this is a really good artifact set. Really, like you could even like if you're goofy enough, you can even use it on characters that like aren't hydro, but like would benefit from like using their skill and then normal attack and charge attack. You definitely should not. You could, but it's a pretty solid artifact for hydro characters. Works really well with them. Not much to say about that. Next up is the Husk of Opulent Dreams. This is one of the best artifacts we've had in a while. I'm not gonna lie to you. 2-piece defense increased by 30%. This is like the first 5-star artifact that increases defense, and it came out like 2 point something. The 4-piece, a character equipped with this artifact set will obtain the Curiosity effect in the following conditions. When on the field, the character gains 1 stack after hitting an opponent with a Geo attack, triggering a maximum of once every 0.3 seconds. When off the field, the character gains 1 stack for every 3 seconds, just when they're not on the field. It's pretty solid. Curiosity can stack up to 4 times, each providing 6% defense and a 6% geo damage bonus. When 6 seconds pass without getting a stack, 1 stack is lost. So, if you hit an enemy with a geo attack, you get a curiosity stack. Or if you have them in the party just chilling while you're waiting for their cooldown or something to run out, their burst or whatever, to build up whatever you're waiting for, they get 4 stacks. Like they get a geo damage bonus and a defense bonus. Because this is all about because the geos are all about defense. I don't think there's any other character who cares about defense. I think it's just all geo characters, except for Zhongli. So you get a damage bonus for geo, and then you get defense bonus, which is what they needed to begin with, because that's a 2-piece. You wouldn't run this without the 2-piece being important. It just worked extremely well. Getting the geo damage bonus, or getting the curiosity stacks and keeping them, it's very simple, very easy for your geo characters once they pop their ult or something, or once they do what they're doing. Like if you use Ito's ult or Noelle's ult, it's gonna start working out. Or Goro and Yunjin, you just have them in the back chilling before you use their skill and their ult, boost you for whatever you need. it just works so well. It's a very well designed artifact, and it does what it does to a T perfectly. I think it's got like a beautiful 2-piece effect, beautiful 4-piece effect. Extremely well done. Perfect. And next up from that, we have the very opposite. I think there's when the game first came out, and like it was already like, you know, like like they had like the very first map. They had they had all of the what's it called? They have all of the elemental types. Not all of them. They had a few of them. They had Electro, Pyro, and yeah, it was just Electro and Pyro at the time. And they had alternative so every domain has 2 artifacts, 2 main 5-star artifacts. And so the Pyro artifact was the Crimson Witch of Flames, and its alternative was the Lava Walker. And the Lava Walker is so bad. It's like unreal how bad it is, along with the other one. But we'll get to that one when we get to that one. The Lava Walker, 2-piece. Pyro resistance increased by 40%. The 2-piece just increases resistance. There's like defense means nothing. I mean, defense means something, but elemental resistances mean nothing right now. And that in place of anything that could be offensively better is just horrendous. And the 4-piece, increased damage against enemies affected by Pyro by 35%. So you have to wear all 4 pieces to increase damage to enemies affected by Pyro by 35%. You could run 2... My voice cracked. You could run 2 of like any of the attack percents and get 36% attack increase. I guess attack increase and damage increase is different. But either way, there's so many things you could run. Like, if you were running a Pyro character, let's say you're running Hu Tao, like, you could run 2-piece Crimson Witch. Actually, you would run all 4-piece Crimson Witch, because it's just really good. But you could run, like, 2-piece Crimson Witch, and then, like, 2-piece of, like, Tenacity of Millilith to increase her, like, health. Because she scales off of that. Instead of just increasing, like, general, like, damage. Like the payoff is quite a bit, but it's asking for way too much. I think these are like B tier. Like they're just so bad. Someone convinced me to run Thunder Soother on my Kaching, and I do have a Thunder Soother Kaching, and she does not perform as well as she could. But the Thunder, like the Electro sets are like pretty bad. I have to completely rebuild her one day, but I'm just lazy to do that. But the Lava Walker is just it's just horrendous. Next up, we have Maiden Beloved. This used to be the main healing set, but on the release of the Husk of Opulent Dreams, we got another healing set. Severely outclasses this one, but we'll go over this one anyway. 2-piece character healing effectiveness plus 15%, and the 4-piece using an elemental skill or burst increases healing received by all party members by 20% for 10 seconds. Sounds like a pretty solid healing set. I don't play healing sets. Like, there's no, like, even on Barbara, like, I wouldn't, like, run this. I'd run, like, maybe, like, 2-piece of this, but, like, I would just go for, like, HP or whatever, like, maybe even Hydro damage bonus, just because, like, you could just run, like, a little bit of damage on her. But, like, it just doesn't, it's just not worth it, bro. It's like, don't play Maiden Beloved. Like, no matter how good the artifacts are, like, I would never, like, maybe like a random, like, 1-piece that was, like, just rolled, like, really well, and, like, another character just needed, like, anything to fit in, and it just happened to work out. But, like, I would just use, like, Maiden Beloved for fodder. Next up is Noblesse Oblige. This is, like, high S tier. This has been S tier since, like, release. 2-piece elemental burst damage plus 20%. Elemental burst damage. Yeah, damage. by 20%. Really solid. Any character that just relies on their burst to do a little bit of damage or whatever, or just like a burst DPS, 2-piece of this smacked on them, perfect. And then the 4-piece, using an elemental burst, increases all party members' attack by 20% for 12 seconds. And this effect cannot be stacked. This is like any character who has a burst that supports the team and increases like damage or something, or like healing, or like anything, any kind of support character, 4-piece or burst support character, 4-piece Noblesse, perfect on them. And obviously you can only have it like one per like team, but even still, very solid artifact. In its field, it does like, it just makes everything just better. Like if your character is gonna like buff your team and using their ult, like you just give them more of a buff. It's cool. Can't complain about that. We have in our slot next, Ocean Hued Clam. The 2-piece is healing bonus, 15%, which is, I guess, different than character healing effectiveness. I don't know what the difference would be, but worded differently, so it could be different. Or maybe that's just the wiki that I'm using. And the 4-piece, and the character with this artifact set heals a party member, one foam will appear. It accumulates healed HP for 3 seconds, then explodes and deals 90% of the HP healed as damage to nearby enemies. Max accumulated healing is 30,000 HP, including overheal. There can only be one foam active, but it stays even if you swap out. Foam cooldown is 3.5 seconds. So this is even though I don't like healing, this is a really cool artifact set. I think it's like, I think it deserves some love. I think it's in the middle of A tier. It makes your healers do some damage, and like they can like not really like double as like a DPS, but like they can heal and do damage at the same time. So like this is like very good on Kokomi. So you throw out her little jellyfish. It's actually a pretty big jellyfish, pretty tall. You throw out the jellyfish, and it does like little like ticks of damage to enemies, and it heals you. And at the same time, you have this little bubble popping up, the foam, and you know it's just pretty solid. It's pretty cool. A little bit of extra damage, can't complain about that. And your healing is like really solid at all times. So it works pretty well in that situation. I can't argue with that. Next up, we have the Pale Flame. The 2-piece Pale Flame increases physical damage by 25%. So we've got like competition for the Bloodstain. And the 4-piece, when an elemental skill hits an opponent, attack is increased by 9% for 7 seconds. This effect stacks up to 2 times and can be triggered once every 0.3 seconds. Once 2 stacks are reached, 2 set effective is doubled. So this was built for Eula because she can like use her you can like tap her skill like really fast. So like you tap her skill and it gains 1 charge, you use her ult and you tap it again, and then she has like 2 stacks or whatever. And then that's when you like go in with like normal attacks or whatever. And it works really well for her. The 4-piece, I don't see it working well for any other character, because you would have to use the two what's it called? You would have to use the two hits like really like fast. Like you'd have to have like a sacrificial piece, or sacrificial what's it called? Damn, what's it called? The sacrificial weapons. That's what I'm trying to say. The sacrificial weapons. You'd have to run that with them, or like just yeah. I don't think there's any other character. Like I think Razor. Yeah, Razor could actually use the 2-piece set. I think Razor could use like all of like Eula stuff, like her weapon and everything, but just will never be Eula. So yeah, like it is a really good set. but it's just not there's just not many characters that can utilize it. Like it's only good on 2 characters. It's a pretty specific set, but it's like if you can fit in those specificities, I don't know if that's a real word, but if you can fit in those specifics, it's a very good set. It's just sad that not many characters can fit in there. Next up, oh man, I forgot all about this. Yeah, this is like the Lava Walker, but like for Geo. Because there's like the Geo set, and then there's this retracing Olide. I think I've ever seen anyone use this. I don't even think I've seen anyone use like an off piece of this. It's just horrendous. Like no, like yeah, everyone stays away from this. The 2-piece increases shield strength by 35%, and the 4-piece, while protected by a shield, gain an additional 40% normal and charged attack damage. So you increase your normal and charged attack damage, but this has to be on like a shield character. So you have to have a shield character that increases their normal and charged attack. I mean that deals normal and charged attack as their main source of damage. So maybe on like the very, very early days where like it was either like this or like Gladiator set on like Noel, you would run this. But like the more the game progresses and the more we get like good artifacts and everything, better and better artifacts, like this just gets worse and worse. Like increasing your shield strength is like relevant. Like you would rather have like shields increase, like shields usually are off of based off of HP. You'd rather increase the character's HP because you get a stronger shield and you get a character with more HP. You get 2 for 1, and this you only get the increased shield strength. So what's the point? This is horrendous. Like the 2-piece, like the 4-piece is pretty solid if you have a shield, but then like the 2-piece, like it's just asking for like a very specific character. It's just not gonna happen. Like there's no character who's just like who's gonna put on a shield and have it increased and then do like really good damage on top of that with just their normal and charged. Like I don't like I wouldn't even like, the only character I could think of is Noel, and even then I would not run this on Noel. Even in like the olden days, I would run some other nonsense. Next up we have Shimenawa's Reminiscence. I thought it was Resistance. I almost had it right earlier. This is a 2-piece, increases attack by 18%, and the 4-piece, when casting an elemental skill, if the character has 15 or more energy, they lose 15 energy, and normal charge plunge attack damage is increased by 50% for 10 seconds. This effect will not trigger again during that duration. So this was like made for Yoimiya, but realistically speaking, you could run this on like any character. Like if you don't care about your ult, you can just increase the damage of everything else you do, and just proceed onwards. But like there's some characters like it sounds like it'd be good on, but it's like not as good on. Like you would run this on Yoimiya, but you wouldn't run this on Child because Child has a very, very strong ult. So you don't want to lose out on that. Even if you get like some stronger normal attacks. I don't think it's worth it. But then there's some characters who's like their ults aren't as strong. So it's like, yeah, you could it's better to like, instead of having that one instance of like a lot of damage, it's better to have like more common instances of doing a bit more damage on their regular attacks instead of like moderate normal attack damage and then like one big ult and then like go back down. Like it's a more consistent higher damage. I do think it is a very good set. It's definitely an S tier artifact right next to the emblem because it's just so versatile, and the 2-piece is attack increase. You could use it on any DPS character. Like it's not locked to like man, you can mainly use it on these DPS characters. Like it's for everybody. Rated E for everyone. Next up, we have Tenacity of the Millilith. Uh, 4-piece, another paragraph that I don't remember. The 2-piece increases HP by 20%, which is first of its kind. I don't even think these 4 stars. I don't think any of these 4 stars increase HP. I could be wrong, but I don't remember. They're so irrelevant. Let's get them out the way. The 4-piece, when an elemental skill hits an opponent, the attack of all nearby party members is increased by 20%. So using a skill buffs the party, which is like beautiful already. And their shield strength is increased by 30% for 3 seconds. Lock the shield character. Not lock the shield characters, but like now it's like, oh, you gotta run out on a shield character for maximum benefit. This effect can be triggered once every 0.5 seconds. This effect can be triggered even when the character who is using this artifact is not on the field. The Geo artifact set, Archaic Petra, was just so bad that they had to create a whole new one for Zhongli. And that's what Tenacity of the Millelith is. Like he has the shield, he has the elemental skill that does damage off the field, and he gains the most benefit from having high HP because his shield is his shield strength is based off of his HP. So it's made specifically for him. But other characters can have the same like off-field damage buff bonus. So like Shinobu, Kiki, Chi-Chi, Zhangling, Fischl, like everyone who has like off-field damage bonus can use this. Even the Shogun can use it. But I would personally go to your house and beat you up if you use this on the Shogun. It's like highly disrespectful. But it's a pretty solid artifact. 2-piece HP is like really good, and then like a free damage bonus, pretty solid. I think this is like bottom of S tier, just because it's a kind of a strange one. It's like because Chi-Chi's a healer, so you could use it on her, but you wouldn't really want to use it on Fischl because like she's like a DPS. Why would you want to like have like your DPS? I mean, you could build her as like skill support, I guess, but like it's still kind of like a weird one. It's definitely got a home, but not as nice of a home as it could as others. Next up, we have Thundering Fury. 2-piece increases electro damage bonus by 15%. Solid. We like our elemental bonuses. The 4-piece, however, increases damage caused by Overload, Electrocharge, Superconduct, and Hyperbloom by 40%. And the damage conferred by Aggravate is increased by 20%. When quickened or the aforementioned elemental reactions are triggered, elemental skill cooldown decreased by 1 second. It increases your damage, which is really good, but it's not as good as the Crimson Witch. Because Crimson Witch will just increase your like pyro damage, super solid. But this one decreases your skill cooldown. It's like, yeah, that's cool, but like decreasing it by 1 second every time it's triggered, it's like you decrease it by a couple of seconds. Like if you really want your skill cooldown, like if it's really that important to you, you'll run like a sacrificial weapon and like reset the cooldown. So it makes this a little like iffy, because it's like if your skill's that important, like this is meant for like DPS, you know, because you're increasing all your damage. So this is meant for like one of your main DPSs or something, and then on top of that, like you wouldn't want to run like a sacrificial weapon on your main DPS, because like you would just want like a crit rate, crit damage substat or something. Like it's just a very like weird, like they just gave it a very strange effect. It's still good, but it's nowhere near as good as like the Crimson Witch. I think it's like low S tier. Even then, like, it's not even like that good for all electro characters. Like Crimson Witch is like good for like every pyro character. Every pyro DPS is running Crimson Witch, but not every electro DPS. I think it's like an A tier actually. It's not every lower. It's not every like electro character is even running like 4-piece Thundering Fury. Like I run like 2-piece Thundering Fury on like almost every electro character, but like 4-piece. Like I couldn't like fathom it. Like it just doesn't like it just doesn't sit as well, you know. Because some like electro characters will like you'll want to build them as like physicals for superconduct and all this. It's like I can't see it. Moving on, to something even worse is the Thunder Soother. The Thunder Soother is the Lava Walker. We'll just put it right there next to them. I'll put it in front of the Lava Walker because I have Thunder Soother Kaching, which is like not as good as a Kaching could be. I feel like I'm like letting Kaching mains down running this, but Kaching main told me it, so what am I gonna do? 2-piece increases electro resistance by 40%, and the 4-piece increases damage against enemies affected by electro 35%. Exactly like the Lava Walker, just the electro version. Just as bad. Overtaxing and everything. Not overtaxing. It just asks for too much, being a 4-piece. Whatever. Same thing as the Lava Walker. Next up, we have Vermilion Hereafter. This came out with the with this guy. I don't remember the name of this guy, but this came out with this one. We'll give it a quick read. 2-piece increases attack by 18%. I think this guy did that too. Maybe I'm just tripping. After using 4-piece, after using an elemental burst, the character will gain an Ascent Light effect, increasing their attack by 8% for 16 seconds. When the character's HP decreases, their attack will further increase by 10%. Hold on, I gotta reread that. Will gain the Ascent Light effect, increasing their attack by 8% for 16 seconds. I'm sorry. When the character's HP decreases, their attack will further increase by 10%. This further increase can occur this way, a maximum of 4 times. This effect can only be triggered once every 0.8 seconds. Ascent Light will be dispelled when the character leaves the field, and if Elemental Burst is used again during the duration of an Ascent Light, the original would be dispelled. This sounds like a very Zhao and Hu Tao focused artifact. Actually, the only character who can use it is Zhao. This is... Wow. The only character who can use it is Zhao. Like, no one else will fully take advantage of what it has. There's not even, like, another recommended character. Like, if you look at the recommended characters for even, like, these 4 and 3-star artifacts, like, it'll show you characters who will benefit from it in some way. Like, the HP one, like, it's, like, good for, like, so-and-so because... like, they'll get more HP. Like there's something. But this one, nobody. It's like it's hard to rate because like, is it even like Zhao's like best artifact? I hope it is. Something this specific. Yeah, if it was Mage's form, it's probably his best, right? I guess we'll put it in B tier. Because if you have Zhao, it's like, it's probably up here. But if you don't have Zhao, what are you going to do? Wait for Zhao? I guess you could wait for him, but like, once you have it once, like, will you ever need it again? Are you ever going to get like 2 Zhaos? Like, not like C1 Zhao, like 2 separate playable Zhaos? Probably not. So, it's not even like Eula's like Pale Flame set, where it's like it sort of works for other characters in like some ways. This is completely like, I guess 2-piece attack percent you could run on anyone, but you don't even have to go out of your way to farm that. Like, you're gonna have 2-piece gladiator set, so why would you go out of your way and farm this? Anyways, moving on from that, that's such a weird like artifact. We have the Viridescent Venerer. 2-piece animo damage bonus, and 4-piece increases swirl damage by 60%, and decreases opponent's elemental resistance to the elements infused in the swirl by 40% for 10 seconds. This is like very good, like for supports and DPSs. This is definitely within like these like this like element. What's quad 4? Yeah. It's definitely within there. It's good for supports and DPSs because you can swirl for your DPS is element type unless it's Geo or a Dendro. You can swirl for it and then lower your opponent's your enemy's resistance to it, and then just use their burst or whatever, and then just get crazy damage like numbers. Cool stuff. Or you can have like a swirl build. You can have a bunch of like off field like elemental attacks or shields, and then run someone like Heizo, who just like just does a bunch of swirl damage. There's like cool options you can do, and it's got a nice split for like any animal character that can play it. Very nice, very good stuff. The only thing that sucks about it is that you get Maiden Beloved with it. So it's like I guess you get like the fodder to upgrade, so works out. And last and certainly not least, the Wanderer's Troop 2-piece increase elemental mastery by 80, and the 4-piece increases charged attack damage by 35% if the character uses a catalyst or a bow. This is a pretty solid one. It's not like that's not like that good. It's like, yeah, I would put it next to Gladiator's finale, but it's it you get a simple elemental mastery increase, which is it works out for like bow and catalyst characters, because catalyst characters are always going to do elements. So there's always going to be reactions, and bow characters, when you fully charge it, they do element damage. So, but it's not good for every bow or catalyst user. Like you wouldn't play this on Child, but you would play this on like Yanfei. So like there's definitely options. Who else are the recommended characters? Amber. I play Amber with her, with Wanderer's Trope. Ganyu, yeah, completely forgot about Ganyu. You would play Ganyu with it, for sure. And you could always use, a 2-piece Elemental Mastery for like anyone. Oh, Klee. Yeah, Klee is like a charged attack. So yeah, that's it for this tier list on every current artifact in Genshin Impact. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys would like to see similar more, let me know what you guys want to see, like a tier list of. Any questions, comments, concern, leave them down in the comments, and I'll get back to you. Thank you guys for watching.